So welcome to the Escapist Corner. Today we have a fine guest from the southern parts or middle part from Europe, southern from where we are. It's a guy that introduced CrossFit to the Central Europe region, I would say. He is he has very big buttocks. He's called Mr. Glutes. He has several records, world records, European records in weightlifting, powerlifting, and seems to be quite of an energetic guy, so to say. So let us introduce Ramon Gysin from CrossFit Basel.
Hi, Ramon.
Yeah, Basel, Switzerland. Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Hello. So, tell us, Ramon. First of all, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Ramon or is it Ramon?
You can decide on your own. Usually, I say my name is Ramon when I speak in English. Spanish people or Latin American people say Ramon.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it sounds to me.
and the Swiss people just say Ramon.
Just one
three
question.
ways now.
Because for me, it's a very Latin name. Right away, I'd say, okay, Mexican or Latin. So, any Latin American roots?
So my name it's actually, let's tell that funny story about my name first. It's probably a good start to get easy in the conversation. So my name is Ramon Luis, but my origins are very much here in Europe. So I don't have any ancestors in any Latin country, so it's just my father really likes Cuba, and therefore I have these two names. And my mother told me the story that they wanted to name me Fidel, like Fidel Castro, and I'm really glad it didn't happen. So my name is now Ramon Luis, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Imagine yourself introducing the CrossFit community, very American in one way. And here's the Fidel guy from Europe calling.
Fidel from Cuba.
That would be very ironic. I agree. Yeah, but fun.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice with a story behind the name. I don't have any beautiful story to tell about my name or names, but
me neither.
At least what I know of. So, Ramon, what are you doing in a day like this? Are you having like a sunny, nice day in Basel? You usually have.
Actually, yes. Spring started, so I already got sunburned. That clearly shows that I have no like ancestors in the Latin American world. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been sunburned already by a little bit of sun. Mainly at the moment, I'm sitting on a desk. So I like my company is now almost is 8 years old, so I do a lot of work behind the desk. I'm kind of the CEO behind the show here, run the show, and there's a lot of desk work to which I have to do. I was also on a call today with Jami from the training plan, Jami Tikkanens from the training plan, where we were planning the online programming for the upcoming weeks, because there is like over 30 people from the training plan qualified for regionals. So that's also part of my other jobs I have beside running my gym.
How involved? You say you're talking about the programming, so you're now very involved in trying to program for the athletes that are now going to the regionals, and hopefully then as many as possible to the games, I guess. And you, I guess, are you trying to program for those events, or for how are you thinking there?
So first of all, just to clarify, I am a collaborator. So the mastermind behind the whole training plan is Jami Tikkanens himself. So I'm typically every week we are on a call and we work together on some of the stuff, but most of the stuff is really coming from his mind. I am mainly the support. So I'm more like a ping pong feedback loop towards his thoughts, and my expertise lies in the strength area, so I do a lot of support in the strength strength training planning, and I guide those things. Or also we have a strongman session, for example, we do. So that's my role there. Yeah, I would love to. Of course, there is potential to do more of that, but everything has the right time at the right moment.
Yeah, I mean, how do you manage? I mean, you're a highly productive guy, right? You do throw your own events. You have 2 boxes now, also, right? So how do you manage? How do you get to training yourself when you're now behind a desk?
Yeah, so I think one thing is when I started in 2009, I started small, so I founded my box here. That went bigger. We were able to continuously every year. We were growing up to a point where we have about 700 members right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually about, and we're talking about Basel, not about like a big city in somewhere in Europe. It's really Basel. It's small, 200,000 people population, a little bit more when we count the suburbans. So I really grow into all these projects and jobs I have. So currently we have 3 facilities right now. We are managing, we just opened up a lounge, like a bar, where we sell stuff, but which serves also the purpose of enhancing our customer service towards not just the clients, and should also make the whole path from prospect to client a little bit more efficient. Mm-hmm. And then in the past, I also worked hard towards the path to be able to work on seminar staff. So now just about once a month, I travel around in Europe and teach new level 1 coaches for CrossFit headquarters. And also in the same process, I got to know Jami Tikkanens, and because I have a vast background in different competitions, we started talking if there is possibilities for collaboration. So what I did in the past is just I recognized when there is an option or a chance for me to personally grow and develop, and I just took it. I did the hard work, walked the walk, not just talk the talk, and just made it happen. But also up to a point where my own training suffers, of course. So I have a lot of responsibilities right now, which I take very seriously. And then this year, for example, I wasn't really able to train like I want to train, and this will, of course, affect my upcoming competitions a little bit. Probably only so in the first half of the year, because I want to go back to more serious training latest summer. But then yeah, I mean, there's always up and downs. I mean, like you guys struggle now with some of the stuff, bureaucracy now for your own box. There is times where you have less time, or where you're absorbed by other stuff, and then you have to kind of trade off, find the best possible trade-off in all your activities. And I think by nature I did some decisions very well, some decisions went very good or very right, and others I have to learn from and then adjust in the future. So I can't really tell you a system. I'm more like I'm very good in serial, sequential, and multitasking. It's also my interest, you know, my drive is like really, I love to be involved in different projects. I feel like I'm a CrossFitter also in my personal life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Ready to tackle whatever comes in front of you and take care of it in a way.
In that mindset, but also I'm interested in so many different parts. So I'm interested in the business parts of the business, like management and leadership, but also I'm still very interested in becoming the best coach can become within the next 30 years. I don't know.
We're talking to a couple of people here in the podcast, mainly masters athletes. I know they all say this goal to get to the games or regionals, or this goal to succeed, takes quite a long period of time. So we're talking, all of the guys we're talking to, they say at least 18 to 24 months. So how you picture yourself as a target? Because you say you want to go back to more serious training. Do you put yourself like a goal, okay, you know what, I want to be 2019 regionals, or I want to be now masters at 35, I want to be in that age group competing. Is there like a plan you have already done, or it's just going to see, okay, day by day or year by year saying, okay, you know what, probably I feel nice, I feel good, my company's running good, I can dedicate more time to training?
So my interest is really more in the strength sport currently. So I quite enjoyed. Last year I had a lot more CrossFit training. So let's start it from this perspective. In 2012 I qualified for the individuals, and I also won an event. And after that I dedicated a lot of time for strength training and powerlifting, especially, and also Olympic weightlifting, also strongman. And just last year I started to do the Swiss traditional sport of stone throwing. Mm-hmm. But I also combined, last year was a very good year in training as well. I took it very seriously, and I made also big progress in CrossFit. But also I think just realistically there needs to be a decision, and right now my decision is something like a 300 kilo deadlift I have never achieved in my life, and just this year I had a small progress again, for the first time in 4.5 years. I had a competition, a new competition, personal best in the deadlift from 291, and that was kind of like sparkling another. Currently I see myself much more. I have sore feet from 17.5 still. I have sore feet from the double unders, and the stuff I feel like the CrossFit stuff is much more taxing on my body than the strength stuff, just from my personal feel as an athlete. Yeah. And I think I have much bigger potential in the strength disciplines than in the CrossFit discipline. I really felt that I lack of aerobic endurance, and just to do the work there to be competitive, because also masters is really competitive. Yeah. Just think about the 35 to 39 category. That's insane, the people competing there.
Yeah, and it's gonna get filled up with all these really good athletes that we've been seeing now for the last years.
For the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But I understand that part. But my question is, of course, I focus it on more CrossFit. But of course, it could be any competitive category. It could be strongman or powerlifting. So is there what's for your experience the time frame needed to be able to compete at the highest level or a high level? Is it 18 months, 1 month? Depends on your background, of course, but still.
I think this is not something that there is no general answer to this question. There have been people. Let's talk about someone like Stephen Fawcett, dedicated a full year without any other competitions and made it to the games. Whereas now he is probably going with the team, and there will probably not a chance again for him. I mean, it's just an assumption from the placement he has now in the Opens. Yeah. But he clearly fell back when he dedicated less time. So, I mean, it depends on your background. It depends on if you're a robust person. Can you handle the work that is necessary? We just had one more girl qualifying from my box, Alessia, which I'm very proud of her that she made. She had 4 hard years of work to get to the regionals now. Yeah. So I think the truth today is that you really need to dedicate. If you have a very good background already in the sport, and if you learn fast, if you can dedicate the time, you can do it probably in 1.5 years, 2 years. You can reach your goals, but there's also other people who really worked hard and didn't make it. So I think there's no guarantee.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. But just gives you a base level at which you can really trust yourself to be able to compete at least at the highest level or a high level.
So I have a different perspective for me. I think if you're just in for the short run, if your goal is, okay, I want to go to the regionals within 2 or 3 years and then that's it, I think it is not something I can share. My perspective is really the 70-year-old guy who is able to go hiking with his grandkids. This is more the perspective I am aiming towards. I really want to be this longevity, this sustainability. I love competition, so I want to compete forever. I mean, as long and luckily I compete in powerlifting where we have 80-year-old guys still competing.
Yeah,
it's a great perspective to have. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get very interested to hear because since you're a multitasker and you have this drive to do stuff, and when you see an opportunity, you tend to, at least in my eyes, you tend to like, okay, I do this, and you kind of do it with force. This is from my perspective, outside perspective, and what I'm thinking of, or what I'm what question that comes to me is that where does this drive come from? I mean, it's kind of restless drive, right?
I think so. There was also like a period in my life. I was a very unlucky student, so I have half a bachelor in economics, and it's literally half a bachelor, so I have 90 euro credit points in economics bachelor, so nothing. So I've done my college degree, went to the university because that was expected from me, from society, but also from family. And just to be honest, I don't blame anybody. It was just like the path you go. So everybody said, yeah, you go to the university is the elite of the society and you have to go there, and I'm a very ambitious person, so I was kind of I wanted to go there because everybody said, oh, these are the smartest people, they go to university, and I had no other clue what to do. So I went to university. I have been doing the first year 60 points, and then I spent 4 years only doing another 30 points, so I was very lost at university, and also like it felt like a personal failure. So then when I moved out and I knew I have to make a living on my own, I also decided very fast in what direction I wanted to go. So I moved out from home, away from my mother. I had my job in a security company, and I knew either I make the bachelor or then a master and get a job in that industry, economics, or I follow my passion. At the same time, I found CrossFit at the end of 2007 through the movie 300. So I had passion already always for training since I can think back. I loved moving and training. And then that came very quickly. So I decided to do this CrossFit thing. And then I realized I have a lot to learn, and I kept on learning. And then these nice opportunities came along, and I couldn't say no to many of these. So it was just like intriguing to me, and it's like I was really starting to live life, and it was like very rewarding also. I was successful, and people were like, I got the feedback that I'm successful, and that was like a big contrast to the study time.
Yeah.
I think the drive comes also from that point, also that I realized in order to live a happy life, you need to do things. You can't just sit there and wait until stuff comes and happens to you. You have to take the option. You have to take these chances that come along and make something out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I come from I can relate a little bit, no, not a bit, a lot to your story in the sense that I come from a country where, as stupid as it sounds, if you don't wear a suit, you're not serious. Kind of, if you don't, so you don't have what do you do? No, I own a CrossFit box. What you're at the office? What time you work? It's not from 9 to 6. It's kind of you're a free spirit, and that's not normal. That's very weird, and people don't quite understand this, and they start questioning. But how are you going to pay for school? Or how are you going to pay for your elderly days and stuff? But then there's a drive, this drive of following your passion and being really. It really, what they say, if you do what you love, you won't work a day in your life, which at the end it needs a lot of work to create this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I think at the end it's passion that drives people, and successful people, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and absolutely. And also the point was, and I'm still in the, like I was really lost also, and I went to the university also because I didn't know what I want, and I couldn't see the path back then that it's possible to, because there was no one else having a CrossFit box by then, so there was not like something I could see, okay, there is this path of opening up a CrossFit box, because also I have no background. I didn't study sports science or something like this, so it was a very unconventional way that I started this whole company. I mean, but it worked out in the end. I mean, And when you say, okay, if you work what your passion is, then you don't work any day. I think this is also sometimes a little bit confusing for people because, to be honest, it's still the grind. I'm 8 years in, and it's still a grind. Most of the days, it's just the grind. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like I sit there with joy and I'm happy and smiling all day. It's hard grinding. And I learned that in order to be successful, you have to sustain the grind and keep on going.
Yeah.
Talking about when you open you opened that gym back in 2009, and now you're in the CrossFit seminar staff, coaching new people. Have you noticed any difference in the coaches themselves over the time now?
I can probably say I noticed a big difference in the community from the time we were starting, because in the very early days there were like only freaks coming. I would say freaks because these are the people who were really interested in that. They were looking for information. They found CrossFit, and looking back, I'm still very surprised that I didn't found CrossFit earlier, because I was like looking for information about training, powerlifting, and Olympic weightlifting, like since, let's say, the millennium or so, really like when CrossFit started to be public in the internet, like 2002, 2003. But I didn't find it until 2007. So, and now today it's very popular, and so it's changed also quite a bit. There is also there's different people in the level one. There's the people who are very eager to learn. Some people think there is easy money in it to open a CrossFit box. There is some people. They just want to become better athletes. So the crowd really, I think, changed a bit. But there's always like very fantastic stories. I remember a guy something like 68 years old, first ever CrossFit experience on a level one in Holland in Driebergen. Fantastic guy, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but still, I mean, yeah, the people changed a bit, and there's also way more CrossFit seminars around these days. Like back in the days when we started, when we had the first CrossFit Level 1 seminar in Basel in 2010, we had like 1 or 2 in a year. Last year we had 7 or 8, and there is so many other boxes in the area. There is CrossFit Level 1 in Berlin, in Frankfurt, in Nuremberg, in Vienna. There is in Geneva, in Zurich. So there's a lot going on now.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think the spirit remained the same. It's all like we have very good very good talks on these seminars. It's very open people, very eager to learn, very attracted to the community, and I think it's still like a great spirit like that transcends the whole community.
What do you do in the level one? What's the most common question you get there? Because I assume, we did the level one, and I mean we were hammering poor Phil with the questions at that time, because he was also having his CrossFit Fra box which closed down, but so we were hammering him with questions. So it would be interesting to hear the other side of the perspective. What's the most common question you get there from the level ones?
I'd say typically the most questions overall come about nutrition and I think also programming. I think these are controversial topics where we have more questions. If there is anybody like, let's say, professional from another area in the training industry, like let's say they have learned squats differently, or when there is weightlifters around, then of course they have done things technically in a different way than we teach that. So there is always conversations about, hey, who is this level 1 course for? And it's for beginners, and it's how to teach beginners, how to introduce CrossFit to new athletes, new people to CrossFit. So it's not really important if the specialist weightlifter wants to do the push jerk in a different way. Then that's very much fine, because it's geared towards a different population. So the questions mostly are around, I'd say, around nutrition. And of course, programming. People ask always about like some crazy programmings they heard about or they follow. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's from a business perspective, something that I've been seeing also and hearing from other boxers is that you have a couple of coaches, they are coming together, and then they start to fight because of the programming, and they sit and do a lot of programming, but there's nobody to program for. I mean, they're programming they're putting so much effort into programming that they're forgetting about the rest of the business. And we had this discussion just this week, I think, that we want to do a nice program now for the guys that are here, but still we have like 35 members at the point, so where should we put the focus? And it's just funny that you, because this is something that takes a lot of thinking and in many cases rightfully should, but it's this to also distinguish how much effort and time can you put there. I mean, you have these great training protocols already also online from coaches like yourself, or from the training plan, or you have the main sites.
Yeah, you have thousands of platforms, hundreds of platforms at the moment. Yeah. Either almost every CrossFit Games athlete already has a program in. You can get to it through the internet.
But yeah, it's fun, right?
So regarding this, Ramon, of course, there's a value of getting programming, external programming from professionals and everything. What's your take for your experience? Should programming? I mean, you're gonna say it's different to us to answer this, but of course, which way should a new box go? Focus on the business side and guide external programming, or also put the programming inside the system?
I think that's very much depending on how much experience. If you have like a very experienced head coach who is in CrossFit a couple of years and really knows different styles of programming, I think then it's really worth to do their own programming. But if you have somebody it's absolutely reasonable if you say, okay, I want to open my CrossFit box, but I realize that my strengths are more on the business side. Then this might be a situation where you find someone external helping you. Yeah. All in all, I think when we talk about investing a lot of time in programming, I think just investing, I think it makes no sense to invest a lot of time without being sure that there is the results are there. So just to justify, to feel better because you have invested a lot of time in programming, or let's say the program is better because there is so much time invested, I think that's not really smart. So I can tell you, for my all-levels beginners classes, my head coach invested about 6 hours this year in the programming for the first 3 months only. But this is because we have a system in place, and he's doing that already for 3 years. So he's very much used to how to program. And our style of programming is very much we keep it simple. We don't want to, we are a big facility, and we have many coaches. I have 23 employees, most of them partial employees, of course, part-time employees. So if we want to keep a high average quality in my training department, I need to be able to teach the style of coaching pretty quickly to a new coach, because there is some fluctuation as well. Coaches come, coaches go in a business of that size. So I need a system in place where people can learn very fast how to deal with that programming. If you have a very complicated programming, then there might be more errors when coaches execute that programming. So that's kind of where we go with to keep it simple. Philosophy really pays off in that regard, and we can clearly see with people like Alessia that people can grow from beginners through all levels, through advanced, through the competition classes, and even make it to regionals in our system.
Yeah,
So it's not like we close doors with a more simple program.
No, that's quite good. Quite good evidence that you don't have to make it too complicated to be successful. It's more about actually doing, moving and doing stuff, and try to. I think like the methodology of CrossFit with mixing enough and have variation on it. So
yeah, I mean, what is CrossFit? It's constantly varied functional movements performed at high intensity.
Yeah.
It's nothing complicated. It's easy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really simple. It's really simple.
Yeah.
Also, when you just more to the detail, when you program or the focus of the program goes to whom? What's what's the target group? Because you have a large audience, it's 700 members, I imagine, in different locations. So it's a lot of different levels of athletes, of course. So who's targeted to with the basic program, with the general programming?
So for me, like I said, we have a beginners and then all levels classes structure where most of the people go to. And in my view, like I said, this is a long-term thing. I don't want to my goal is not to make someone as good as possible in the next Opens. My goal is to change their lives and give them a positive, help them in the long run. So my philosophy is that even if I call it beginners in all levels, even all levels are actually beginners. So what do we do with beginners? The first thing is we mechanics. Then consistency, and then intensity. That's why, and also like the previous reason I said, we need to be able to teach coaches fast how the system works. So I choose to do a lot of slow strength training in classes where people can focus on mechanics, not under time, not under fatigue, but when they are still fit and have energy. So we do a lot of strength training. We work a lot in cycle circles. So there is like a push, a pull, and the lower body exercise. Mm-hmm. And then there is a Metcon in the end, which is most of the times pretty simple, like not with a lot of barbell movements and not with so much complicated gymnastic movements. And then we run 3 days like this, and then we run a 4th day where we do more sophisticated, complicated skills, may it be barbells or gymnastics, and then we have a longer workout. So that's how we choose to do that. And the good thing with that, so how do I justify that? I say mechanics, consistency, intensity. So this system allows me to really train mechanics. Like most of the time in a lesson spent goes to teach mechanics of just like fundamental functional movements like squat, press, and pull. Mm-hmm. And then I also because I'm a powerlifter and I love strength and if you're stronger, then also the daily activities is just easier. So I really love, like, when is the last time you had to run 3K accidentally? When is that happening? It's not happening. I mean, there is clearly health benefits in aerobic endurance, and you should do that absolutely in your training. And also, if you want to be a good CrossFitter, you need to train this energy system, and you need to do those workouts. But typically, what helps people first is to have a little bit more strength. Also, like, back pain goes away if you are stronger. I mean, it's just like, and also like all the strength work really strengthens passive structures like joints, ligaments, and tendons. So the ability to injure yourself in a more dynamic environment of let's say kipping pull-up is lower. So it's more sustainable. And also I think in general, people are not strong enough. Like, they sit on the desk all day long. They need strength in order to be able to do, let's say, a muscle up. So that's why I focus more on strength. Like, for me, it's like makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, so I mean, something that is very normal is for people, if you ask them if they're fit or if you ask them if they are training, then usually like a very common answer is, yeah, I usually run once a week. Yeah. Or twice, or they play company football on Friday evenings, and from that you're supposed to get fit. So how do you and I mean, this is just sort of a barrier of knowledge, like the the difference in knowledge to understand what fit is. And my question here is more, how do you, I think what you said actually is a very good answer to what my question now became, is how to talk to those people to make them understand that to play company football 1 hour every Friday doesn't make you fitter. It might even make you, endanger your capability to get fitter. Because what we see is that people come here with broken ACLs and stuff from football playing, because they used to be fit and then they play once a week and bam, one Friday
they just go all in.
Yeah, exactly. So so I'm kind of drifting here, but I think you kind of answered that, how to approach those guys to understand that you need your strength, to work on the strength and not just play company football once a week. But okay, let me reformulate. How do you get these guys to understand that they have to invest at least maybe 1 or 2 hours more a week in a CrossFit gym or somewhere else where you can build strength? What do you say to those guys?
I think short term is just marketing. So do you have the right marketing in place? That's short term. How you sell your service to a certain segment or group of potential new clients. I think long term, it's really the duty, I would almost say like a duty of the whole community to educate people. So education comes through understanding. So I think when people leave the level 1, they are so much focused on this programming and daily application of CrossFit, like the workouts, that they forget the big power of the underlying concept. So I've coached and taught like 44 CrossFit seminars now, level 1 seminars, and I've been to maybe another 25. So I've listened to these what is fitness, what is CrossFit lectures over and over again, and still I learn and still I understand way better from every time I listen to them. So when people finally will understand all this, what is fitness and what is CrossFit lectures, and that fitness over a lifetime means health, and this will take time, this will take years until people understand the value of the underlying concepts of CrossFit. Because right now, CrossFit is very well known for high intensity. People are scared. They think they don't relate it to health. They don't relate it to fitness. They relate it to maybe they relate it to fun in a group, and they will get better, become better, but they don't relate it to lifelong fitness and therefore health. So I think that the community, each box has to take a standpoint, leading by example. That's what I try to do with my competitions. I want to lead by example, show the people that it's possible to do all that stuff together. We need to educate ourselves. We need to educate our coaches, our employees, our clients about these strong concepts which are already there. And then it's just like CrossFit is big already, but like I said, it's the appreciation or the impression what is CrossFit is different, and we need to work to change that. And I think everybody's work is you guys' work, it's my works, and I think then we will attract the right people, or people will come to us anyway. I think it's really like keep doing the work in your box every day, and then people will understand by just seeing the results that this is so powerful.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's kind of it's because somehow you give the same lecture every time, and I don't know how many I've been talking to, not closely as much as you, Ramon, but I've been when you talk about the functional fitness part and what it is and why do you need health and so on, I come to to this kind of, it's also about education then. So what is health? I mean, we talk about the continuum in the CrossFit level 1, which is useful and it's very good. It's a good eye opener. People understand graphics. It's always nice to be able to draw that. But talking about your health, how do you handle your health? I mean, you're very busy, and you say you have a lot of things. And what I can relate to, or what I see, is that we have a lot of things going on. We started a podcast, and we don't know why, but we just felt we have to do it. Maybe it's a part of the thing of educating people, fed up with telling the same story 100 times over. So here's a podcast you can listen about it to. But how is your health? How do you keep up with your health, if I may ask?
Yeah, absolutely. That's I think, especially when I say or make a strong point about leading by example, of course, it's absolutely reasonable to keep me accountable and ask me about the same thing. And of course, like everybody else, I am doing sometimes a better job, and sometimes I'm not really doing a great job in that regard. I think I changed a lot personally the past couple of years. So if you had known me a couple of years ago, I'd be the person who would drink Coke all day long. So I was very much in love with all sorts of fast food, be it like pizza, kebab, you name it, currywurst, whatever you want. I was really in love with that stuff. I loved pasta. I loved my Snickers, my chocolate milk, my Kellogg's Frosties, everything. I mean, and hey, I didn't gain weight, so it wasn't unhealthy. So I had a six-pack, so everything is fine. So I can shovel in that sugar, 400 grams a day, doesn't matter, because hey, I'm going to do 4 hours of sport. No problem there.
No.
Until I got the problem. So a couple of years ago, I had those problems. So my digestion went crazy, and I had like half a year of like stomach pain. And I went to the doctors, and they said, "Well, Ramon, you need to back down on your work. It's really like obvious that your work is giving you a hard time, and the stress is too much." But then I started to read and learn and educate myself. So I read a lot about paleo. Of course, for the level 3, for the CrossFit level 3 education I did, and also for being on level 1 seminar staff, I had to keep up and read a lot of books, be it paleo, be it some stuff from Precision Nutrition, Berardi, be it the Barry Sears, the Zone Diet. So I started to educate myself and to change things, and by now I still love chocolate, and I have my little chocolate every day, but my consumption of sugar, for example, is drastically lower than what it was in the past. And also I struggle with some intolerances, so I don't eat any grains and wheat and yeast, for example. I don't like zucchini and aubergine too much, so there is some stuff I keep away. And the current struggle I have at the moment is I don't eat any breakfast, so I maybe eat twice a day, and I should probably go back to eat like 4 times a day, something like this. So I keep an eye on sleep. So even if I have, like especially during the opens and when I am busy on seminars, I tend to sleep not enough. This is not really good. I am like a night owl, so I go to bed like 2 o'clock in the morning and get up like something at 10. So I try to keep my 7.5, 8 hours of sleep. If I train for an hour, I typically sleep half an hour more. And also per training, I have like 1 meal more. And I've been driving very good with this. Some simple changes I did last year was, okay, I only drink water and I want to eat at least a big salad or a big portion of vegetables each day. And that made a big difference to me. So I was the leanest last summer and also pretty strong. So it felt pretty good, and I want to go back to that rhythm, back to that schedule.
Yeah, I mean, you're quite of a heavy guy for being in your height, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My BMI is like, I am obese, like super obese. I have a BMI of 33, and I can die every moment.
Yeah. So I had this issue with my in Germany, because probably like in Switzerland, you're privately health insured.
Yeah, same.
So, but you get a bonus if you have the right BMIs. So
if you get good health markers, you get a bonus and you reduce your
you reduce your yearly
insurance.
Exactly. So
but this guy,
I went to the doctor and I said, okay, I want to have this filled out for the insurance company so they can so they can reduce my rates. And he was like I said, you do like blood test, everything you have. If it's outside the insurance, I do it. I want to know what's in the blood and everything. And the results came back and he was like, yeah, that's good. And I asked him, hey, this cholesterol, is that a bit high? And he was like, no, that's actually the best one I ever seen. So he's like, what are you doing? Like I said, I eat a lot of egg and bacon. Oh, okay, well, this is great, and I train quite a lot, but usually I try to eat as less, no sugar and so on. Oh yeah, no, this is great. I never seen better specimens. Oh, that's good. And then he filled out the paper, and then it came to BMI. He was like, "What's your weight?" So like, I'm 100K. Ah, shit. Because then I was just above the line, and he was like, so he wrote a note where it says, the guy is very fit, he has a six-pack, and then 2 weeks later, I get a mail from the insurance company. Sorry, your values are too bad.
Your BMI is too high. We cannot reduce your rate. Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, and it leads to a problem because the current health authorities, there's, I mean, of course, I don't want to put a whole industry in disgrace, but there is like certainly doctors which don't keep up with. It's fucking 2017. Sorry, I mean, man, you can read up on that stuff. You can also educate yourself and like move on and learn new stuff. There is like old rules in place which make no more sense anymore.
Yeah, I tend to sense that there is this kind of knowledge gap between the professional medicational science, which I'm not saying anything bad about it, because I see it a bit like, I think it's something Greg Glassman always says, is about they're the lifesavers for somebody who's drowning, right? And we are more the guys learning people how to swim so they don't drown. But but it still is such a gap. It's somehow that these guys, they only know how to take a guy who is about to drown, to pump their lungs, get their water out, and that's it. But he can't learn this guy to swim. This is sort of the analogy I can think out right now.
No, I think that for me, I think that it's important fact that more people get, as people get more involved with fitness, and we're talking about ourselves or customers, and now we have such a huge amount of information on the internet we can tap on books and different things, that customers are getting informed. They're learning, they're doing their homework. So why is it not people in the medicine or pharmaceutical industry not doing their homework too and changing these parameters that are basically nonsense? I mean, you're fit, but you're overweight because too much muscles.
It's slowly happening in the States, right? I've seen a bit on them through CrossFit main sites that you have some hospitals now with a CrossFit gym or so on, and that would be very interesting to see, to get that into like the welfare system in the European countries, because we have the best welfare care in the world, but we're more, instead of getting people on their feet, we're like shutting them down and making them, sit in this chair or lay in this bed until you can't breathe anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I totally agree, and I can tell you, for me, it's almost, I have a very strong point on that. for me, it's almost like if there's a doctor and that he writes a receipt to, let's say, a person has the right wrist hurt, and this doctor writes a one sentence. This person cannot move for the next month because the right wrist is hurt. I think that is almost criminal, because we can look around. The current philosophy in the health industry is not working. This is just a fact if you watch around, because people are getting more sick and more sick. So it's very obvious that there needs to be a different approach, but people seem not to understand.
Yeah.
It's so clear. You just have to walk around in a city at the train station, walk around, watch these people, observe these people, and then, because I'm typically only in a CrossFit box, so either I work here, see CrossFit people, or I go abroad and I am in another CrossFit box. So I see normal people only at the airport, and then I'm stunned sometimes.
And you get shocked, and
Sometimes really, yeah. And also I can relate with something else. When we have school classes coming to my box training, if these school classes come from the city center, there is almost there is very little students that are not overweight. So these are young people in their teenager years, and they already struggle with obesity. I mean, that's a very rough start into their life.
I was talking to this with a couple of friends, and when I was in school, there used to be like the fat guy in the class, and now he's the skinny guy in the class. So it completely turned around.
Yeah.
Totally.
And what I see is also the lack of play these kids have, because they can't move anymore. And I mean, I still think, as everyone, you think that you are young. I just newly went out of school, but that's not true anymore. Because now I really start to see, like, hey, there's a 16-year-old, 70-year-old coming into the gym, and this guy, he's so stiff he can't squat even. So, yeah, it's crazy that you can have these kind of, the lack of play is just so obvious now that we have to have, a big companies like a CrossFit box or gyms where people have to go to for 1 hour, because otherwise they don't play.
I completely agree. It's just like human beings don't behave so much as human beings anymore nowadays, because there is so much new technology. There is we live totally different lives than our biology needs. So it's really all these fast, everybody's on the phone. There's so many different devices. You don't spend so much time outside. You don't move. You don't move in high intensity, but you also don't move in low intensity, because everywhere there is elevators. You don't have to walk again. I mean, even there's these electronic bikes now. You have a car and so on. So you don't really have to. It's so much change, and it's detrimental to the individual human being. It's a shame. It's really people also struggle to live to their full potential because they have unfit bodies.
Well, there's one there's one book, one theory from one guy, I can't remember the name of the book, but he says at the moment what is going on is that people used to die because lack of things. People used to die because they were hungry, or because they were cold, or because they didn't have enough minerals. And nowadays people are dying because we eat too much, so we have diabetes, or we don't move enough, so we have heart disease, and we get fat and everything. So this is why his explanation to saying that evolution, the human being is not evolving anymore. And that's why also he says that the pain industry, what he names the CrossFit, the Spartan races or obstacle race and stuff, is booming because people want to feel distress and people want to challenge themselves.
Absolutely. I also feel like I had a great conversation. Jami was bringing that up in one of our last calls, that being something like exposed to cold or extreme heat,
exactly,
or stressful situations is totally normal. Whereas having this constant stress in our daily lives, which we have right now, is obviously not making any good for people. I think it's really it should be the other way around. I think you should seek more quietness and calm and mindfulness in your daily lives, but then once in a while, I struggle with hate, for example. So maybe it's good for me to go hike in mountains once in a while to get that stress but not all the time.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think we could almost dedicate an entire podcast to talk about this phenomenon. Damn it. About this thing, and but yeah, I think we're going to do it a second time. I think we have to kind of glide out of this one, and thank you, Ramon, for participating.
Yeah, thank you for your time, for your knowledge, and until next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. I would love to continue this. I think there's many more questions left.
Hey, I have an entire
document too. So
Yeah, absolutely.
you got lucky this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, thank you, Ramon.